Ready to do this?
Why not? If we go down, we go down together.
Get down together. All right. 3.
There's a large chance that we could get made fun of a lot.
Hey, I'm willing to take it. 3, 2, 1. And that is Joey's happy dance that this is episode 1 of
Socratic Sports.
Hey,
all right.
That's what I'm talking about.
We did it.
We did it, man. Hey.
We did it.
This is Joey B. Hey, do you want to be called Joey B? I just call you Joey B because
you can. Hey, listen, I go by lots of different names. Joey B.
Yeah,
Joe Man.
Joe Man. I mean, what?
J Dog. That guy over there.
All right.
Don't really matter. I respond to it all.
All right. Cool. Well, I'm gonna call you Joey B because I like Joey B. I think it rolls over.
Whatever you want, Carlos.
Thank you, sir. And I'm Carlos, or you can call me Chef Los, because by trade I am chef. But I'm shifting towards doing podcasts with my main man over here. And like we said before, this is Socratic Sports. This is our first ever podcast. We're trying something new. We don't have one of those stories where we're like we were kids and we grew up together and all that. Nope.
I've known this guy for 9 whole months.
We work together outside of this, and we love sports, and so we decided to do this podcast.
Why not?
So
now
hey,
we're here.
Yeah. So let's give them the reason why we chose the word Socratic. Yeah. Socratic Sports. Why don't you break it down for our viewers here?
Yeah. So, look, at the end of the day, we're just kind of 2 guys who enjoy talking about sports. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that we're like some X's and O's experts, because I know I'm not. I don't know about Carlos, but I know I'm not.
I am.
That's good to know. I'm learning a lot of new things already. Yeah,
What's the meaning behind Socratic, though? Like, what is...
Yeah. So Carlos and I, we were throwing around ideas. We're like, what's going to pop? We need something that grabs people. And we sent around a lot of ideas, and then I was going rock climbing later that night, and I'm thinking about like what I kind of want out of this podcast. And I don't know about you, Carlos, but what I like most about our sports conversations is we get into more of the kind of like nitty gritty of like why do we think, this player is better than that one, and why, a lot of whys. Mm-hmm. And so what made me think of is, I guess I used to be a little bit of a philosophy nerd, just a little bit. I'm no expert, but I was a little bit of a philosophy nerd. And Socrates is widely regarded as the father of Western philosophy, and he had this method where it's kind of revolutionary in teaching, where he would continue to question his students after they gave him an answer. Mm-hmm. And the goal was to basically be able to continue to justify your answer and articulate it pretty well. Mm-hmm. So it really makes you think about why you're giving that answer, and he would find every reason to poke holes in it, which in turn would hopefully make the student's argument stronger. Mm. What I'm thinking is a lot of what this podcast is going to end up being is you and I getting into it a decent amount, cordially most of the time. Maybe not so cordially.
We both love sports, but we have 2 different views about a lot of things, which is cool, which is fun.
I think that's what's going to drive people here. Yeah. So I just, I'm climbing up that wall, and I get down, and I'm like, that's it. It's one of those weird like light bulb moments that you see in the cartoons. And I texted Carlos, and I'm like, it's Socratic Sports. It's SS. It flows. Why not? And he was like, if you say so.
Whatever you say, I'm with it. So. But cool, man. Well, yeah. So that's our story, and why we chose that name. And now we're just here, and we want to share what we know about sports to the world, essentially. And I mean, we have, like he said before, we go back and forth. We work together. We travel a lot for our main jobs, and on our travels, I mean, we just went to California for some travel, and we visited Angel Stadium, which was absolutely amazing. Cool. We had great seats.
I saw Ohtani. Oh my God!
Yeah, hit a home run.
Totally lived up to the hype. That man is the truth. I am not an Angels fan, but Ohtani,
I would sign him any day of the week.
He's so calm about it. That's what blows me away. Like, First pitch of bottom of inning 1.
Yeah.
He's the leadoff batter. Gets up there and it's just straight up like, boom. Just like, it just crushes it. And he's just kind of trotting.
Yeah, just cool about it. Like, I do this every day. You know?
And he does it.
Yeah, it's like, I do this every day. Which is cool, though. It's super cool. And so, as you see, sports is us. I mean, as you can see, we have on football jerseys, Eagles, 49ers. I'm a huge 49ers fan. He's an Eagles fan. As you can see, the banner behind us, Eagles. And
we already know who won this because I already control the room.
Yeah, that is very true. But there will be more stuff added to this wall behind us.
Maybe.
There will be. There's no maybe.
I don't want to say that this is my room. This is kind of my room. So we'll see.
So yeah. But outside of that, huge Yankees fan. We are killing it this year. Best team in baseball right now. But today's day, what is it? It's May 31st.
How many games in baseball are there again?
162. That's why I said.
And the season ends in September?
October. No, in October. First week of October it ends.
What's the date today?
That's what I said.
May 31st.
It is May 31st today. Right now, as of today, we are the best team in baseball. Right now, as of today. So give me that talk. That's all I'm saying. Yes,
I will give you
this
that.
months down. Wait. Like I said, June is tomorrow. So 4 months down, we will be revisiting this? Yes, without a doubt. But as of right now, the Yankees are the hottest team in baseball, which we will talk about, like I said, down the line with Aaron Judge's contract and re-signing him, which we should have did last year and we didn't. But we don't know the behind the scenes. We can sit here and say, hey, we should have signed him. We should have thrown him all the money. We don't know the behind the scenes, and eventually we will find out the behind the scenes. But that's another conversation for another day. So right now, let's go into. Let's give them some
like
previews.
Every Rockies fan every year. It's the end of May, guys. We're in first in the NL West. Oh my God, we got this is our year. And then July, they've lost like 13 straight.
It's not gonna be us though, dude. We're just too good.
What was it, the 07 Mets, who like historically had a bad September where they lost like almost every game?
Let's not talk about the Mets. The Mets signed Bobby Bonilla and still paying him till his day.
What day is that?
Hey, let's not even go there. But let's let's give them a preview of the topics we will be talking about in future episodes. As we said, this is just episode 1. We'll see how far these topics and episodes will take us, and hopefully you guys will be interested in. Once you start following us, guys, please do follow us on YouTube, Socratic Sports. Like us, subscribe, share us to the world. Let people know that we have this going on, and it's just a really cool podcast to talk about. And it's all about sports. And even if you don't like sports, maybe this will be your introduction to sports. All right, so.
And if you don't like it, you know what? I enjoy talking to Carlos.
Thank you. We can literally have 0 viewers and just sit here and talk to each other just with microphones on like we do every day. You pulled up a Bobby Bonilla.
I needed to know.
You didn't know about
it? I knew what it was. Okay. I needed to know the day. So it's July 1st.
July 1st.
So every July 1st is
Bobby he gets
Bonilla
paid
day.
1 point. You know what? On July 1st, we will celebrate Bobby Bonilla. And we will have something that has Bobby Bonilla affiliated with us. Because you know what? This dude has...
Just a giant fat head of Bobby Bonilla.
Just have him right here. Like, dude, inspiration. He doesn't have to work a day in his life and get paid $1 million every year.
You know what's funny about this? This is kind of how this happened. So, like, Carlos and I were talking about Tom Brady's network contract.
Oh, yeah. The 10-year, $375 million.
To talk?
But he hasn't even started yet.
Do that.
He started the conversation and hasn't even started yet. Like, dude, like, what is going on?
We can do that. What are we missing? 7 Super Bowl rings?
Supermodel wife.
That doesn't mean he's good at talking.
Well, apparently he's good at everything else. Why wouldn't you assume he's not good at talking?
I'm so jealous of Tom Brady.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Don't be jealous. You're your own man. You're your own man. Let's get into the topics that we will be talking about down the line. And I mean, what we can talk about today is why do we love and care about sports? I mean, that's a huge topic from any fan who just loves the game. But why do we love the game? Why do you love the game?
It's an interesting question.
It is interesting, but why do we love sports in general? Because you know what? We can say, why do we love basketball? Why do we love baseball? Why do we love football? But why do we just love sports in general?
Yeah, so I guess for me, like, because it's interesting because there's really no reason to love sports. And what I mean by that is, like, if you play them, yeah, that's, awesome. Like, if you're really great at them, obviously you're going to like excelling at something. But from us now, we're getting up there. I'm not as limber as I used to be, and I wasn't very good at sports anyways. Worst goaltender in Ohio here. But
what was the name of your hockey team in Ohio?
The Geauga Maple Leafs.
The Geauga?
Geauga.
Geauga. And was that a city?
Yeah.
Okay. Shout out to Geauga. If anybody's streaming this.
Carlos, I was so bad. The puck was like rolling towards me. And for some reason, I thought I should skate all the way out to the blue line. The blue line as a goalie. And butterfly, and it went underneath me
and rolled,
and I couldn't make it back to the puck, Carlos. Even the ref was like, "That's a goal." I was like, I couldn't even look at my bench. They're just like, "What are you doing?"
Oh my god, that is hilarious.
My biggest shame at 10 years old. Now you know my secret.
Yeah, I do. I'm glad I do know it.
But yeah, I think for me, like I was saying, there's really no reason to like sports. Like, you don't really gain anything from watching sports, which, I mean, you can make an argument for every form of entertainment. Like, you don't really get anything from watching a movie or playing a video game or something like that, or seeing a concert. But for me, I think what separates sports from all those is you're seeing people do almost inhuman things.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, someone like, here's a good example. Right now, the NHL playoffs is happening, and you've got the goalie for the Edmonton Oilers, Mike Smith, is 40 years old. 40 years old, and he's still playing at an elite NHL level.
Tom Brady.
We
just got done talking about
Tom Brady. So, I want to rule on this podcast. I don't think it's fair to use Tom Brady as, like, look at that, just because the man is inhuman. I promise you, he is like basically Superman, is my theory.
Okay, so why would we talk about Superman?
He came from, but like, Mike Smith was born here.
Oh my God, Tom Brady was too, dude.
Tom Brady doesn't have a mom or dad. He was born from like an egg.
A football egg.
And he just came out. The crazy diet, just ripped from like the day he was born.
He came out like Captain America did when he from the pod.
You know what Tom Brady is? Tom Brady's like a failed Cold War experiment. Like, we need this guy to be a good Army player.
So dramatic.
We need him to be good, but then they're like, well, he's not very good in the military. Maybe he's a good football player. Yeah, wow, he's got a great arm.
Dude, I'm sorry, but I am not sticking by that. If we talk about greatness, Tom Brady will be involved in every conversation about greatness. This dude has done things imaginable.
Because he's inhuman.
He is. To me, now you know what? I'm gonna say it like this. We always have this conversation. Well, not we, but just people in general from watching other sports stations and stuff like that about the greatest sports athlete, or just I'll just put it like
which
that.
Which will be one of our topics, by the way.
Yeah, it will be one of our topics. But people talk about the greatest sports athlete. Michael Jordan is always at the top. Always, right? In my opinion, Tom Brady has surpassed Michael Jordan. In my opinion. Now, I absolutely love Michael Jordan. I do. I think he is one of the best players. I mean, from watching out, we wasn't around. We wasn't in the locker room. We were watching something like the 30 for 30 that did the no, not the 30 for 30. I'm sorry, excuse me, the Netflix. The Last Dance.
Michael Jordan's too big to just get 30 for 30.
Yeah, that is very true. That is very true. And that document was it wasn't about the Bulls. It was strictly about Michael Jordan.
That's where the isn't that where the I took that personally, right? That's where that came from.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So,
that person.
I mean, and Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan. But as far as, to do it in such and again, we wasn't there back then with football terms, but watching old clips of football, it was brutal. But watching old clips, now this is the comparison, watching old clips of basketball, watching the Detroit Pistons beat on Michael Jordan and just literally in today's basketball, they would be arrested and thrown in jail if they played that basketball today. There's no way that these dudes would survive this day. And then we can say the same about Tom Brady. Tom Brady, even though he started in 99 or 01?
No, he was drafted in 2000. He was
2000,
190. How could you forget? This is your hero.
I wasn't sure of the year, but I know he took over for Bledsoe when he got hurt. I know that whole story. I just couldn't remember the year.
Yeah, he was the 199th pick. How did we get on so much Tom Brady?
Yeah, but I don't know. Because we started talking about, the greatest athletes.
This can either go very well for us.
No, you started this by talking about Tom Brady, having this rule. It's like, we have to talk about Tom Brady no matter what. But you're right. Let's get back on track. That's a whole episode. As you can see, we will definitely go into.
Because I have a lot to say about the greatest athlete. Yeah, I want to get to it right because.
Yeah, we won't. We'll save that. But anyway, let's get back to the topic of why do we love sports? And for me, I think it's just more of it's something that we can't relate to because we aren't doing it. Mm-hmm. For instance, as I mentioned earlier in the show, me being a chef by trade, I have people say, man, I wish I could cook like that. Or I wish I could, come up, I could literally open a refrigerator, take out a few things and make a complete meal. Some people just don't have that ability. Not saying I'm the best chef in the world, huh?
I don't have that.
No. But anyway, my love for the sports that I just can't relate to it because I played football in high school, but it was quick. I sprained my ankle and I was just like, I don't want to do this no more.
You gotta hit people.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't care how big I am. I'm a softy at heart. I don't want to deal with this.
Bones can still break.
But my accident happened outside of the field. I never forget this. I had a gym class, a football practice after. My mother is just like, hey, let's go shopping for shoes because you need them, especially with the football and everything like that. We go to they call it Journal Square in Jersey City, New Jersey, where I'm from. And I literally step off a curb into a pothole and sprain my ankle. Literally swole within seconds. Go to the hospital, put a cast on. We catch the bus. We didn't have a car at the time. I'm on the bus with crutches, trying to get off the bus, everything like that. Took me about 3 months to get out of that. But they was expecting me to come back. After I felt that pain of spraining my ankle, that was it. I was like, I'm good, no more.
I love that the thing that turned you away from football was a non-football accident.
Yes, exactly.
Also, I really hope when you're on the bus, if anybody asks you about your crutches, you gave them a sweet story. Please don't tell them I accidentally stepped off a crutch.
But that's so funny, dude. Why would I tell a different version of that story? That is so funny.
You're a big dude. And
I know.
I fell off a curb and I twisted my ankle.
And that was the end of my career.
That was it. I could have gone D1 Alabama, baby.
But I stepped on a curb.
Gets me every time.
Every time I go back home to visit, I look that curb right in the eye. And I'm like, you know what? Forget you, curb.
Have you ever seen the movie Office Space?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a decent movie. But there's this scene, so their copier always breaks. So there's this scene where they play, I forgot what song it was, but they play this song and they take the copier out because they're quitting their jobs. And they just start beating it with baseball bats. They're like, I hate you, copier. That's why I imagined you with the curb.
With the curb? You curb? Just hitting concrete.
Walk by and they could be like, Mommy, who's that? Oh, we have a lot of these people around here.
No, actually, they would say, oh, that's Carlos. Well, you read his story in the history books. Yeah. So
he's going to be the pride of Jersey City. But this curb took it away from him.
Man, it's funny. But anyway, as I was saying, It's just something that we don't do. So, and especially personal stuff, like you don't know what someone is going to. Maybe sports, for me, especially like, being the big kid in school, not having many friends and stuff like that at the time, just watching sports and feel like being a part of something. It's a cool feeling,
So I agree. That's one of the big things. So that's, for me, is one of the big things about being a fan. Not so much sports, but being a fan is like being a part of it.
Yeah.
Because being a fan doesn't really make sense.
And that's going to be one of the topics we talk about down the line.
I love my birds. But like, win or lose, I still got to wake up and go to my job the next day.
That's true. That's very true.
But like, it's weird. It's something inside me. Like, I'm not like, oh my God, we lost. No, but like, the day definitely
I am, though. After that, when the 49ers lost in the Super Bowl to Kansas City, I'm like, you know what? Literally eyes watery. Like, I'm just like I'm trying to hold it in because I'm with my family and I don't want to sit there and be crying. Why are you crying? You didn't play the game. But, dude, when you're invested in something, I see, like the stock market. If you put all your money in the stock market and it crashes, you're going to be like, oh my, like it's going to hurt you because you just made an investment. Same thing with sports. Like the reason why I love the 49ers and I'm from the East Coast, it's because I watched them play the Chargers, the 94 Super Bowl, and they blew me away. The style that they play, the scoring the points, they just made it look so cool and fun. And I'm like, you know what? I want to follow this team.
West Coast offense, right? That was the thing, the West Coast offense.
Was it a thing?
I thought that was the thing.
I remember the West Coast, but I thought it was defense. Was it West Coast offense?
I'll be honest, I don't follow the 49ers. I just know when I went to Tech, we ran a West Coast offense.
Okay, then maybe it was. And as you can see, guys, we call each other out on things, which is super cool. So if you know it, leave it in the comments so we can know exactly what we're talking about too. So
I don't know. I don't believe in the West Coast offense though, because like I said, they were running a form of it at Tech, but that was also, I kid you not, we would put up like 70 points and lose 76 to 7. Most ridiculous. I was just like, how is this? Why are we putting defense out there? They're not doing anything.
They're doing it, yeah. Yep, that's true. But
and then we even had Patrick. We had Mahomes back then.
Oh, okay. Who was, who's in a league of his own.
That's why I would like to take a little bit of credit for semi-recognizing Patrick Mahomes. Because I watched him in college. I'm like, you know what? This guy's good. I know we lose, but he's pretty good.
Can I get back to why I care about sports, please? Instead of you trying to take credit for Patrick Mahomes.
Jealous that I'm probably helped Patrick Mahomes get drafted number 10 overall.
Let me tell you why I'm not jealous. Because Jersey City, New Jersey, stand up St. Peter's, we did our thing in the NCAA tournament. Booyah! So I'm not jealous. All right? True underdog story right there, which we will be talking about in another episode also, underdogs. So, anyway, loving sports. Yeah, so, obviously we know each other, like you said, 9 months, but, my love for golf, football, basketball, hockey, watching the Rangers play right now, baseball, my Yankees. It's just, sports is just something that it just feels good. It just feels, now, as far as being a fan and it doesn't make sense to you, I kind of see that. But I kind of,
fan is
like I said, just like sport, being a fan is just being invested. To me, that's essential. That's exactly what it is. You're just being invested in something. Win, lose, draw, you're just invested into this. And if something happens to it, you're gonna be hurt because of how much you're invested into it. Buying jerseys, buying, whatever team memorabilia, paying to go to the games, paying, to watch, UFC. I love UFC. Freaking $75-$80 to watch a pay-per-view. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you do this because you're invested into it. And you want to know what happens. You don't want to. The one thing I can tell you this much, and I use UFC as an example. There's a big fight card I don't want to get ESPN updates. I don't want to wait until the next day to see who won. I want to be watching it as it happens. So once it's over, I can right away be in a conversation with anyone that wants to say something online, or any one of my relatives or friends who's watching it also, and we can have a back and forth. I hate being that guy that once something is over and you're like, dude, did you see this? Did you see that? And I'm like, nope, I didn't even catch it. Like, dang, I didn't. Like yesterday when I text you when the Rangers, I was like, dude, do you see this? You're like, I'm about to turn the game on. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm like, dude, I'm ready. Like, I was ready to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't be on. I need to know what's going on.
So I get that. I totally understand that. What I mean when I say it doesn't make sense is, so like fan is short for fanatic. Fanatic is basically someone who's just crazy about something that maybe they take it to an extreme. But what I mean when I say it doesn't make sense is, I get it. I'm with you. When the Birds won the Super Bowl, it was like, what is happening? I'm not gonna say it was an out-of-body experience, but it was like, this is crazy because it's something I never thought I would see in my time. When the Cavs, I'm not really a Cavs fan, but when they won in 2016, when the Cubs won in 2016, even though they beat my beloved Guardians, now the Guardians, it was cool because it's something, it was over 100 years since they won. But again, I still had to wake up and go to work the next day. So I mean, like, it doesn't, nobody on the Eagles knows who I am. And nobody on Guardians, and nobody on really any professional team is going to know who I am. But yet, I care.
Right.
That's what I mean. That doesn't make sense. It's like, because apply it to anything else. Like, if you, this is kind of an extreme, but if you worked at a job where you showed up for work, nobody talked to you, you put in a lot of work, and you didn't even get paid for it. In fact, you're paying to go there. It'd be stupid. Why would you hold on to that job? It doesn't make any sense. Or it's like, I guess a better analogy would be, when you really, really like somebody and they just don't reciprocate the feelings, at that point, it doesn't necessarily make sense to like them because they don't feel the same way about you, but yet you still do. It's kind of how I feel about sports. But I don't know. So for me, it's more like, maybe it's the hope. It's like, well, maybe someday they're going to win, or someday.
Right. So would your process change if, let's say, in an alternate universe where the athletes actually know who you are? Like, would that change your perspective of being a fan? Like, would it make sense because they know who you are? Because you know what? I watched a video the other day, and somebody showed, it was the Knicks, the New York Knicks. They were going to their team bus, and you have kids behind the line. But it didn't seem like it was a crazy amount of kids. It just seemed like it was a few kids that knew that they were staying at this hotel, or at the, they was leaving for a trip or something like that, because they was walking out of like a back exit or something like that. But the first scene, you see D Rose walking out, and the kid's like, D Rose, I love you. Can you sign? But he's like ignoring the kids and get on the bus. Then after that, you see another another New Yorker ignores the kids walking the bus.
Was it Julius?
No, well, then you see Julius Randle, same thing, gets right on the bus. Then you see Obi Toppin. Yeah.
Ooh, man, and that guy was a monster. He is still.
He's a monster, yeah.
I watched Dayton Flyer games just to watch him.
He is. He's a straight beast. But when the kid said, Obi, like, he's like, give me 1 second. Let me put my stuff on there, and I'm going to come over and sign you guys' jerseys. He's the only one that stopped. So being a fan, after 4 or 5 Knicks players passed these kids, but the one person stopped, are you dedicated now still as a fan, or are you an OB fan? And just for that, because he recognized me and not everybody else. Or are you just, because this one player did it, I still love my team as a whole? You know what I'm saying? Like, where does it for you, where does it, actually make sense being a fan? Because we essentially all fans.
So for me, I mean, I stick pretty hard to it doesn't make sense. Like, it just does. I don't think you can justify being a fan. in all honesty. Like, how are you supposed to justify, like, I mean, I've spent money on this flag, I spent money on this shirt, like,
Right.
I probably invested a decent, not an absurd amount, a decent amount of money in Eagles gear and other sports-related memorabilia. Again, I keep going back to this point. I'm never going to get anything in return. So to answer your question, it's never going to make sense to me.
So in order for it to make sense, you need to get something in return?
Well, not necessarily, because I do feel like I do get a little bit of like sentimental value, emotional value. Again, like when my Birds win, again, it doesn't change anything. But my Sunday's a little bit better. It's a little bit better. So when they won the Super Bowl, that was cool.
That's what I'm saying. So you're a fan of that. When they lose, you're a fan because you feel the pain.
But why? Again, I keep going back to
nothing
it just
changes
doesn't make
in life.
sense. Yeah, but like it doesn't make. Do you see what I'm saying? Like it doesn't make sense.
But it changes in your life because your mood changes. You just said it. I have a little pep in my step when they lose or something bad happens. You're like, ah. Because you're a fan. That's exactly why. Because you're a fan. If you're just, let me tell you, you're not a fan. You're just, great example. Like when we was in California recently, and we watched Edmonton and who was it? Edmonton and who was Edmonton just in?
It was Calgary.
It was Calgary.
They had just beaten the Kings. Because the bartender was a Kings fan. He's like, they beat my Kings.
Yep. So it was Edmonton versus Calgary. But we're sitting watching it and we're like, man, look at this. But no matter what team won or lost, we didn't care. But if it was the Birds, if it was the 49ers, we would totally leave that bar in a whole different mood. Like, man, I can't believe that just happened. Why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? If they won, dude, did you just see that play? Man, I can't believe that just happened. Crazy. Like, these reactions, it's just being a fan. It makes sense because it changes your mood. That's what you're getting. You're not getting anything physical, but you're getting something emotional out of it, and that still counts. That's just how I look at it.
So you think it makes, and you think all that justifies, like you still don't think at its core being a fan, it almost kind of defies logic. See, that's what I'm getting at. Like, I'm always going to be a fan. And this was why this topic I thought was so interesting, at least for me. Hopefully people find it interesting. Mm-hmm. But again, it's hard for me to wrap my mind around it from like a make sense perspective. So this might be a terrible analogy, but your car gets low on gas. What are you going to do? You fill up with gas.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily something that's going to bring you joy. It's kind of a neutral activity. But you have to, because if not, you're going to run out of gas and get stuck on the road.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to fill up.
Okay.
If my Birds win, once again, I know I keep beating this idea like a dead horse, but nothing changes in my life. So that's what I mean when I say it doesn't make sense. Doesn't mean I'm going to still root for my Birds, but to me, it doesn't make logical sense, and that's why I find it.
Because nothing changed in your life? So when you say nothing changed in your life, you're speaking of, out like you didn't get a new job or you didn't get more money or like nothing changed in that aspect. But emotionally, that's still part of your life. So it did change.
So do you think it's better then if I frame it as it gives me no survival tactics. Like there's nothing about the Birds winning that is crucial, I guess, to basically my survival as a human being. So like it doesn't make sense in that aspect, I guess. Is that? But would you rather me phrase it like that?
But I think you're going for a reach now. Like now you're going to a whole different like if I'm stuck in the jungle, like they won or lost. That doesn't. I can't get out the jungle still. Listen, like what?
I try to pride myself on being a reasonable human being. If I'm stuck in the jungle, Carlos, it is over for me. I appreciate your possibly confidence in me, but come on, man.
But still, that's what
I just found out last week. I thought I was 6 foot the whole time, and the person telling me I'm like 5'10".
When you stand to someone who really is 6 foot, it's a whole different story.
Lies. It's all been lies.
Oh man! But anyway, I mean, and this is, guys, this is a great, for me so far, it's been a pretty cool episode 1 because you guys get to see the rawness of us. Like, we're not sitting here to agree just to agree. Like, we honestly just have different opinions and different views about certain things, and this is just one of them. And I think I'm thinking outside of just the what's the word I'm looking for? There's, for me, inside my emotions has a lot to do with my life, and the sports, they play a big part with my emotions. Again, I could bring it back. You know how much I love golf, and Tiger Woods is probably behind Derek Jeter. You know what? I'm gonna say 1A, 1B. Derek Jeter, Tiger Woods.
In terms of like favorite athlete?
Just favorite athlete, just favorite like inspiration, idol, whatever you want to call it. Tiger Woods, Derek Jeter, neck and neck. Tiger Woods at the time was, again, I started following Tiger. I mean, shout out to my uncle James, who he had the video game in his basement for the PC, the Tiger Woods game. I mean, this was like 95, 96. I
didn't even know they made a PGA Tour video game that long ago.
Man, let me tell you, I would go in the basement and we would literally I would learn how to play golf from a video game in the basement. But not only that,
I learned a lot of things from a video game.
Yeah, I mean, but think of when you see, I mean, not only is it Tiger Woods, but it's a black golfer for me. And seeing that, I mean, because till this day, I mean, 2 sports, which I love, hockey and golf, but you don't see many, black people that's heading it, But seeing Tiger Woods do that and being great at it and just demolishing the competition, I mean, that's just like, dude, now when you see, and again, when I said about the 49ers, watching them demolish the Chargers in the Super Bowl and seeing that and be like, you know what, man, this is like so cool that they did this. And man, I want to root for them and be there for them. And I want to see Tiger Woods succeed. And I mean, Tiger Woods, I mean, he had his falling with all the women and all the injuries and doing this and doing that. Man, I was just like, dude, like, I didn't go, man, well, there go Tiger Woods. Let me change my whole life around. No, I was just like, man, Tiger, like, come on, let's get it together. When Tiger Woods come back, everybody watches golf. Every single person watches golf. Because you know what? Everybody is not only invested in golf, they're invested in Tiger Woods. That's being a fan is an investment, dude. That's why I said when you say that I'm gonna have the same job tomorrow, that literally is like how, to me, those two just don't correlate together. Like, yeah, obviously, like, yeah, when we're done with this podcast, we have to go to work tomorrow. Hopefully in a year we don't. This is it right here.
Hopefully we're still going to work.
Yeah. Something like this. But shout out to anybody at our job watching this. We love going to work. I want them to see us doing this and be like, you know what? Here go your pink slip. But yeah, like, dude, like your job, your finances, like all that stuff has nothing to do with being a fan. I think it's just more of an emotional roller coaster because you know what? I know people who aren't fans of anything. They just enjoy to watch. One of my cousins, who watches sport. He doesn't have a team. He switches teams every year. One year he's a Cowboys fan. The next year he's a Green Bay fan. He's just the fan.
Cowboys
just
fans when they play Green Bay.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like he's just like, who am I going to go for this
until
year?
Until they go 8-8.
You know that? Yeah, I don't think that's a fan. I think he just enjoys the sport. But being a fan, I think when it plays with your emotion, when you feel that happiness if the Birds win, or you feel that sadness when they lose, you are a fan because you feel that. So, I mean, I can't agree with you there where you don't think it makes sense. I think it makes perfect sense. But yeah, that's just my point.
So kind of a lot of what you said made me think, kind of pivoting to another, and I kind of got this from your Knicks story. Do you think the reasons people are fans change as you age? So, for instance, and I'll even take it farther. Do you think the reason we enjoy sports changes the older you get, or like maybe the different stages of life you're in? So, for instance, when a 10-year-old watches, I don't know, LeBron James, do you think he's in awe of LeBron James for the same reason like you and I are in awe of LeBron James?
At that age, I honestly believe that it's intensified. I think it's more. Because they're kids. Kids are like, I mean, you put a cartoon on for a kid, you know, they're like, oh my God, the cartoon is on, you know. Say, like, for instance, like you brought up LeBron James. LeBron James recently just visited the school that he has in Ohio. And he went there, kids were sitting at their desk, LeBron walks in, they blow their lid. Now, are they blowing their lid because they know what he's done to the game of basketball? Or did they blow their lid because they know LeBron James is the one who built the school for us? So either way, I think that for kids, being that young, I think you get more invested. I think being a fan starts at that age, because I think as you get older, I think you're just like, you know, it is what it is. You know, it's just a sports game. If I've never been a fan, like, I think it's harder, just like speaking a different language or learning another language. As you get older, it's hard to learn that language, whatever language you want to learn, just hard to retain it. When we're young, our brain is still growing and we're learning and we're adapting, and we're just like, man, like that image of watching the 49ers play, as I keep using that example, that's like, I'm 36 years old. I was 10 or maybe 9 when that happened. And to this day, I remember that game. I don't remember what I did last week, but I remember that game when I was 10 years old. 26 years ago, I remember that. I don't remember what I did. Yeah,
I wish I understood the brain.
Yeah, like,
give you some super scientific answer on why an emotional game sticks with you longer than I think I ate a sandwich for
for lunch. Like, I don't remember what I had for lunch. So yeah, I mean, when you're younger,
maybe I'll go back to school and get a degree in neurology.
You should, but if you did, then what's going to happen to our podcast? Don't do that.
It'll be about neurology.
I would just be sitting here quiet. But anyway, yeah, I think it plays. So, and I always say this, when I eventually have kids, I'm putting my kids in sports. I mean, my baby's gonna have on 49ers jerseys. They're gonna know who Tiger Woods is. They're gonna know the game of golf. They're gonna know all sports. I want to give them the opportunity to go down this path of playing sports. I didn't have that opportunity. I want to give it to them, not because, you know what, and you know, anything my kids chooses to do, whether it's sports or outside of sports, whether if it's, you know, being a chef, being a nurse, being something, I always root for them, you know. But you know, there is just something slightly different. If I'm on the 18th hole and my son or daughter is, you know, needs par to win, and, you know, just standing there watching the game of basketball, my son or daughter playing, and seeing that we need the last shot, and we're sitting there waiting for that. You know, it's just something about that. As opposed to
watching possibly your son or daughter perform open heart
surgery. I can't do that. I can't. Come on, baby, don't miss that order. Oh, you got it, baby.
I would get kicked out so fast. I'm that guy who would go in with all the residents, so they're all there watching because they're actually in school, and I'm like foam finger, so like son or daughter's then like, you got this. Just go for the left ventricle.
Yeah, like,
do not make a move.
Dude, but there's something low, like deep down in me, as my future kids will be involved. I hope so, a lot in sports. So yeah, I think being at that younger age, I think it plays more of a pivotal role than as you become older as an adult.
So I think I partially agree with you in that it plays a pivotal role when you're a kid. I don't think it plays necessarily a less pivotal role. Obviously, as you get older, there's more priorities in life. You have more things to worry about, which, you know, you got to take care of, which makes sense. It's called being a responsible adult. But I think, like, kids, I think they like athletes because I think they're able to almost well, if they do that, why can't I?
Yeah.
Whereas, like, as we get older, you know, you start to accept these are my strengths, these are my weaknesses.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm actually good at. This is what, I guess, going back to what I keep saying, this is what makes sense. Mm-hmm. So for me, I started learning more about the games from, like, I guess, not a technical aspect. Like, I started respecting what they're able to do a lot more just from, like, a sheer, wow, like, that's an amazing feat of human strength or athleticism. Mm-hmm. So, like, that's part of why I like it as an adult. It's just, again, being able to see professional athletes make up a crazy low percentage of the population. So there's only a really, you know, a handful of people that have these elite abilities. Now they work on it to make them better. Nothing, you know, I'm not going to take anything away from them. They work very hard. But it's very apparent that a lot of them have kind of an innate ability, whether it's like a physical trait or just, you know, an athleticism that most people just don't have. Mm-hmm. So that's impressive to me to get to watch somebody do that at such a high level. As a kid, it's like, wow, like, I can do that. Like, I like playing basketball. I like playing football. I like playing hockey. Mm-hmm. You mean I can make that a career somehow if I work hard enough? I feel like that's why kids like it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But the good part of it is sports can also be very beneficial to a kid so long as you do it right. You know, I think a lot of parents put kids in sports because so long as, you know, the adults are responsible, you know, the leagues they can teach you sportsmanship. They can teach you to lose gracefully, win gracefully, but, like, more importantly, teach you how to lose gracefully. Yeah. Tell you about never giving up. I mean, they're cliches, but
in losing, and let's get it correct here, losing doesn't always come easy because as you get older, I mean, you see grown men cry on the field, grown women cry on the field.
Well, losing anything doesn't have to be a sport, you know, losing your job.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like somebody breaking up with you, like, yeah, it's never easy. But, and I'm not saying sports will prepare you for your first breakup, but it gives you ideas of, like, hey, these happen. You're not the only one. Now you can either choose to dwell on it and throw pity parties, or you can grow from it. And you can try and get better. And you look yourself in the mirror, which the best athletes, that's what they do.
Yeah, that's true.
You know? LeBron James, when he lost 2015 or 2011, they came back, they won the next year.
Yeah.
They did it again in 2016 after losing in 2015. Yeah. You know, and that's not to say athletes that don't come back and win it all aren't good. I mean, I think the best example of that would be Matt Ryan. I mean, unless it's just been a horrific defeat in the 2016 Super Bowl. 2017. Yeah. Like, I don't know how you come back from that. And
was it 23? What was it?
25 to 3.
25-3?
No. 28 to 3. 28 to 3 because they came back. They were 25 down. They came back.
Yep. So I was right. Thank you.
Did you want to, like, start a tally for every time you're right on this show? I
Please, especially against you. But yeah, no, all valid points. So we got a few minutes left in the podcast. We're gonna wrap it up. But before we wrap it up, we're gonna do something at the end of every segment. What we're gonna do today in sports history.
There are actually people surrounding us.
Yeah. We're trying to use this new keyboard thing we have, and that was what around. But anyway, today in sports history, we have Mr. J.R. Smith. This day, May 31st.
Pretty convenient that I was talking about gas.
That is very true. May 31st, 2018. I thought we was ahead. The famous quote when he grabbed the rebound in the finals against the Warriors, ran it towards half court, gave it back to I don't know who. Somebody shot it last minute. Time was up. LeBron with the "What are you doing?" look. And so I just thought that was appropriate to play on our first episode. The "What are you doing, dude?"
Yeah, because that's kind of how I feel right now.
Yep.
I don't really know what we're doing.
Hey, but first episode, dude. I thought Hey, I think we deserve one of these. I think it was really good, dude.
I think everybody listening right now probably thinks we're like the most narcissistic people on the planet.
No. Listen, once you start following us, once you start subscribing, please leave comments. Just let us know. Good comments, bad comments. It is what it is.
J.R. Smith's going to be remembered forever. Everybody, 50 years from now. Hey, you guys remember J.R. Smith? Wasn't that the guy who didn't call a timeout? You know what I think is worse than that, though? Because it happened to your favorite guy, Tom Brady. That was third down, right?
That's a good one. I totally forgot about that.
It's a good lesson for everybody. Even superhumans can make mistakes.
So this is episode 1, as we mentioned. Joey, can we talk about what episode 2 is going to be next week?
Yeah, so if the board is right, which I hope it is, because you wrote it, and it's coming from the my template, we're going to want to talk about the greatest upsets of all time. I've already kind of got my list made up. Carlos got his, and then just kind of...
and underdogs, too, also.
Yeah,
right?
kind of go from there. Talk about underdog, what it means to be an underdog, and I love underdogs.
I do, too. I think, great stories.
Unless they're playing my Birds.
St. Peter's, baby.
How many 2017 Birds, arguably the greatest underdog story of all time.
Oh, my God.
Who's the MVP candidate? Go all the way, win the Super Bowl.
Anyway, but great, and I'm not just saying this just to say it, but great first episode. Hopefully we have many more of these. Fun sports topics. Had a blast. Hope you guys check us out. Hope you guys appreciate just the love for sports that we have, and hopefully you guys join us, man. I really do. But anyway, I'm Chef Los, aka Carlos.
I'm a little nervous.
He's a little nervous. That's Joey B.
I feel so like I'm just out there now.
Yeah, you are. You are. This is Socratic Sports, and we thank you so much for watching and tuning in. We'll see you guys on the next episode.
Should we play this out?
Oh, play us out?
It ends so abruptly.